But I want to focus this morning's text study and explanation on a part of the story that we often focus on in a different way. When we think about the beginning of this Torah portion, the first thing that comes to mind is, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, right? That's what we focus on. And we focus on the theological implications of this idea of, in Latin, creatio ex nihilo, that it's creation out of nothing. But as I was studying this parsha, I noticed that there is a model for us of hope. So the Torah begins, at first God created the heavens and the earth. Good so far. The earth was chaos and chasm, and there was darkness on the face of the deep sea. Each of us this year has likely had a moment of chaos and chasm, tohu vavohu. And so I want to ask a couple volunteers, when you think about your biggest, craziest, most chaotic, chasmic moment, that's a word I never thought I would use. What was that for you? What was a moment this year that was just chaos and chasm? And to quote the kids these days, we listen and we don't judge. So whatever it is, we are just here to listen. So what was that moment for you, your chaotic moment? You can shout it out if that's okay. If you don't want to raise your hand. Yeah. First time baby gets very sick. Yes, that is chaotic and stressful, and your world is tohu vavohu. Understood. Yeah. Allergic reactions. Yes, okay. I'm sensing a theme. What else? It can be in our world as well. It doesn't have to necessarily be something that happened to you, but something that drew a strong reaction. Don't even start. Okay, great. That is a fantastic answer. Yeah. Experiencing death in the family. Beautiful. Thank you. And I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah. The Groundhog Day of reading the news. Oh, that's fantastic. I do have to say, though, I don't know look, as parents, sometimes we have a lot of moments where we have a lot of nachas. We get a lot of nachas from our kids. And there are moments where we all think that our kids are number one in the country, or, maybe if we want to be a little humble, we say they're number 2 in the country, right? But we do, I do have to acknowledge, and mazel tov, on Jesse being ranked number 2 in all of baseball as announcer. So thank you for that. That's pretty special. If Tony were here, I would say it about him too. Okay, so we have this moment of chaos and chasm. And what we don't often focus on is what happens next. What does the Torah say that God does? What does God do? If you just like instinct, what comes next? God makes light? Not yet. We don't have that yet. Right. God's Spirit hovered up against the water. God sees that this is all happening, or God experiences that this is all happening. And God's Spirit is hovering over the water. And as I was reading that and thinking about this year, I saw that as a very disassociative moment. God's not engaged in the tohu vavohu. The tohu vavohu is happening around God. And so what does God do? God's just kind of hovering around all the chaos. Not if that's something you felt this year, that there's a lot of chaos happening around you and you're kind of hovering around it. Yes? Yeah. So what does God do next? Maya? God makes light. Yes, she does. Then God said, now here's where I want to get a little into it a little bit. God creates the world with words, as Rabbi Ackerman Hirsch said. This is the first invocation of the Torah's belief in the reality of words, their power to create and destroy. God can create worlds with word. So too can we. God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Well done, God. God actually is going to say that about God's self in a second. But before we get there, this idea of God creates light. Notice, God was in a dark place. There wasn't light yet. There's just chaos. God is hovering around this chaos. And how does God react? As Rabbi Navarez mentioned yesterday, we can't control the things that happen to us, but we can change how we respond to them. And so God sees all this chaos and chasm, and what does God do? The first thing that God does, sees the light. Not like, I see the light, but God creates the light with God's words. God was in this dark place and created light. Only light is expressly created from nothing. Everything else, all the elements of creation may possibly have been formed out of pre-existing matter. That is, from initially undifferentiated chaos. Kind of like what Adam does in the Garden of Eden. Some of these are going to be plants. I'm going to call them plants. Some of these are going to be things that climb in trees, and I'm going to call them monkeys. But God creates light out of nothingness. So I want to ask you, what was a moment this year where you were surrounded by darkness and you decided to take that chaos and instead of go deeper into the chaos, that you were able to have a moment where you created light? Alternatively, was there a moment, because I know sometimes it's hard to talk about ourselves and like, I made a situation better. Was there a moment where someone made light for you? Where someone brought light into your tohu vavohu? Yeah, Adrian. No? Okay. Yeah, please. Beautiful, beautiful. Non-Jewish friends wishing us Shana Tova. Yeah, Adrian. Yeah. Beautiful. So a counselor helping us in school. Good. Yeah, please. Great, great. So using our colleagues to bring more good into this world. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, Lou. Awesome. Playing with an innocent grandson and curious grandson and then giving it back. Outstanding. Yeah. Being with our parents. Beautiful. I love that. I love that. So I hope that we can take from this that in one word, we have the opportunity to bring light into the chaos of our world. So what does that mean, od lo avda tikvatenu? What does it mean to not give up hope? I think what the first day of creation is teaching us is that hope is that feeling that there is the possibility to create light when everything around us is chaotic. Because the truth is, one word, one creation, one light at a time is how we're going to take the next step in this year ahead. We're not going to be able to we are not God. It's going to take us more than 6 days to go from chaos and chasm to order in our world. But we can do it one step at a time. We can do that in our world. Shana Tova, I hope this year brings each of you light and hope.